In this video, I'm going to be walking you through 5 steps every creative who intends to take their brand a bit more seriously, especially having a strong legal foundation, can take, even if you don't have a lawyer on your end at this time. Legal consideration should not be an afterthought. And that's why this video is about to give you clarity on what you need to do to take your creative brand from I love creating to I'm serious about creating and I'm serious about doing it right. I'm Abisola ESQ. I am an IP lawyer and the founder of LSCC, empowering creatives with practical legal insight. So I work with creators and digital creators and creative, advising them on protecting their intellectual property and helping them maximize their intellectual creations. First, I need us to be on the same page that you don't need to know all the laws to really have a creative brand that is on a solid legal foundation, but you do need clarity, and that's what I'm going to provide you with in this video. First, it starts with some housekeeping, where you conduct what we call an IP audit. What is an IP audit? An IP audit is you taking an assessment of every creation that you have created, whether you have already finished creating it or it's still a work in progress. It is you taking a stock of everything that you own. And content, of course, is the lifeblood of the digital creator or any creative, especially in the creative economy. And so this is where you're looking to see, what do I have? What do I have ready? What do I have as a work in progress? And this is so vitally important because it then can help you see how best you can move forward from here, or when you need to take a step back. IP audit is something that a lot of creatives do not take the time to do. I'm working with a creative and we had to do an IP audit for her, and we found out that the core products that they were supposed to focus on for this year, which they were in their mind planning a monetization around, was not even available. So they had thought that it was somewhere on their hard drive and it wasn't. So an IP audit is where you put together everything that you have ready, and then you can take things up from there. Speaking of an IP audit, I'll leave in the description a checklist that you can download completely for free. It's what I use when working with a client with respect to just putting their brand legally together and helping the creative get on the right legal footing. So it will be available in the description. You can download it, of course, for your own personal use. Next is a mental shift. A mental shift because you need to come to the realization that I shouldn't continue to build my brand without legal considerations in place. So it is you coming to that realization, and first it happens in the mind. And if you're watching this video, I like to think that you're at least coming to the realization or have already come to the realization. Beyond coming to the realization of the need to stop taking your creations casually is also deciding to do better going forward, deciding to doing what you should going forward. The place of the mental shift is a blend of realization and a decision, and these two must go hand in hand, because you could realize and decide to okay, but when you come to the realization and also come to the point of deciding, thus far, shall I go without legal clarity and a legal foundation for my brand? Then you are ready for the next step. Now you have conducted an IP audit and you know some of the things available for you, and you've mentally realized and decided to take things more seriously legally. Next is protecting your asset, your content, whatever it may be. As a songwriter, it is the songs that you have. As a musician, it is the songs that you have put out. As an author, it is the books that you've written. As an artist, it is the paintings and the art that you have created. And as a content creator, the content that you're putting out. And all of this is only an asset if you can prevent other people from using it. If you're not able to prevent other people from using your creation, then we cannot even talk about an asset, quite frankly. But you cannot prevent other people, generally speaking, from using your work in a way that profits them to your detriment without protecting your assets. One of the misconceptions that creatives have is thinking that when it comes to protection of their intellectual property, is something that is beyond their reach. It is not at all beyond your reach. It is a step that you as a creative can take. And in the Legally Smart Creators course, I walk you through how to protect your intellectual property with respect to copyright registration. We did an in-depth step-by-step walkthrough. Again, it will be linked in the description. I want you to take away that protecting your intellectual property is not rocket science, and it is not out of reach even for the small creator. Even for the creator starting out their journey, even for the creator that does not have the leverage of resources, it's something that you're able to do and that you should definitely do if you consider the future of your creative brand as something that you want to be sustainable and profitable. And so protecting your IP asset has to do with things like your name. A misunderstanding that some creative have is that trademark is for those in business of, rendering services and selling goods. That's not quite the case. As a creator, your brand has a name, and that name is intellectual property, and it is on you to take steps to protect it, just so that you can fully leverage on all that has to offer. Protecting your asset will also include your content, and this is where copyright comes into play. When you register your work with the LSCC, just to give what I call a quiet public notice. It's a quiet public notice because you are informing the commission that this is your work which you have created, and the commission is letting the entire world know that this work is protected and it is owned by this creator. Right. So that way, if somebody comes to infringe on your work, the chances of you proving that the work is yours is significantly higher than when you do not register it with a commission. And so I always advise creative, especially those who create literary works, that is written work, audiovisual works, or movie films, and just everyone in that circle to definitely register your work with the NCC. So again, this is not something that is out of reach for you as a creator. It's something that you can do today. This is one of the process that I walk through students in the Legally Smart Creators Copyright course, step by step, the entire process from start to finish. If that's something you're interested in, then of course, it will also be linked in the description. So let me know in the comments. Do leave a comment. Did you think that registering, protecting your intellectual property was out of reach for you as a creative? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. So be sure to leave a comment on that. Did you think that? On protecting your asset, remember that if you cannot prevent other people from using what you have created, it is not an asset at all. And to prevent other people from the unauthorized use of your work, you need to protect it. The next step would be to brainstorm monetization strategy. And this is vitally important for the creator. Brainstorming monetization strategy. And what does this mean in its simplest term? How is the work of my hand going to financially reward me? Again, you probably don't need to concern yourself with this only if you have another means of livelihood. And for most creators and digital creators these days, this is their means of livelihood. This is their means of livelihood. And if it is a means of livelihood for you, then you need to think of how to make it work for you. Van Gogh, and I may not be pronouncing the name correctly, I try, but he is one of the most influential figures when it comes to Western art. During his lifetime, he created over 2,100 artwork, including around 860 paintings. 860 paintings. And guess how many of these works were sold during his lifetime? One. Why do you think that is? I don't know about you, but I do hope that my work as a creator would outlive me and still be significant even when I'm gone. But in my lifetime, I'd also like to benefit from the financial fruits of that work. So why do you and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment. Why do you think that is? That the work was not good enough? Many creatives do not think up ways to monetize the work that they've created. And I say this because I deal with creative most of the time. And fun fact, I myself do have a creative side to me. And what I have seen happen is that the creator keeps on creating and creating and creating and creating. But there is no dividend from such creation except luck shines upon you. And you cannot, that's not a strategy. To wait on luck or the universe to smile, to smile upon you is not a good it is not a strategy at all. It is not at all a strategy. And so as a creator, you need to think of monetization strategy because it's up to you to make it work for you financially. This could be an entirely different video, and it should be. And if I do a video on that, if we do a video on that, I'll be sure to link it, put it in the description. Beyond being a creative, this is where the creative becomes a creativepreneur. This is where you put on your heart, not just as a creator, but as a creative entrepreneur. Because it's up to you to make it work. And you have to, it's not something that you should be passive about. It's something that you should actively work on. And the fifth step is a legal structure for your creative brand. Having a legal structure for your creative brand is very important as a creative because of the numerous benefit that comes with that. And I'm not even going to talk in this video about the new tax law that is already in effect as we speak. I like to think that that topic has been discussed so much. But if you'd like me to make a video about that, then do let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to. But having a structure for your brand is so important. And this is where you decide as a creator to structure your brand legally, registering a business name or a company, whichever is best for you. And I'd like to say that having a company is kind of the better option these days for most creative. But again, this is not legal advice. This is speaking on a general note. If you'd like to know more about the best structure for your creative business, you can watch the video right here, which will go in depth into things to consider before registering your company. If you decide it's a company, we're going to go in depth into discussing the things to consider, not just from a generic standpoint of register your business name, but things to really consider as a creative who is looking to long-term build their brand. You will find it extremely useful, and it's best that you do watch the video before proceeding with your registration, because we've had clients having to re-register their businesses because they didn't start on the right foundation. And so you can check that video right here before you proceed with your company registration, which is a service that we offer, by the way. Again, if you found this video helpful, be sure to share it with a creative as well. I am wishing you all the best in your creative journey. Again, the free checklist for an IP audit will be in the description if you'd want to download that. It's available for you at no cost. You're welcome.